Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a bunch of stuff to cover. We have some exciting news about the Tony Hawk franchise coming up. We have some awful news about a brand new PS5 game shutting down. And we also have some leaks into what I think are going to be some major Switch 2 games. So let's go and get right into this video. Now that I'm looking at myself on camera, I feel like I would be giving tours in Jurassic Park or something, but I'm here for some gaming news instead. Before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, it would truly mean the world to me. Let's go and get right into this video. So where do we even start, right? From the moment Concord was shown off, it looked absolutely awful. When they were first showing off the trailer, I was like, oh man, another free-to-play weird shooting game. This looks terrible. Nobody's gonna play this. What is Sony doing? And then a few more details came out and they're like, you know what? It's not a free-to-play game. And from that moment I knew this thing was doomed to fail. Now, how fast would it fail? That was the question. I assumed at least by the end of the year, right? And from the moment it launched, it was a steady decline. And in my opinion, the quality was never there. So you may ask, well, how bad was the quality?
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Sony is shutting down Concord, refunding players after just 2 weeks. The team-based shooter, 8 years in the making. Ladies and gentlemen, they worked on this for 8 years. Had just 25,000 estimated sales, and that's between Steam and the PS5. You have to ask yourself, over these 8 years of having all these meetings, did not one single person step up and say, this is probably a bad idea? This isn't going the way we want it to go? Because from the time everybody seen the trailer, we knew that. So how did they not know that? There was so many other things that they could have worked on to make this game better, but it just didn't happen. One, I'm very curious because the Concord PS5 controller actually looks really, really cool. I feel like they made more money selling the controller than they did off the actual game. And two, you know, PS5 prices just got raised again in Japan. I feel like this game doing so bad right out of the gate, and I think Sony said they lost like $200 million on this, is a direct reason they had to raise prices on the PS5 in Japan. Now the only question is, will they just throw this away completely? Or could we see this coming as a free-to-play game in the future? I don't know, but maybe you do. Let me know in the comments below. So I've been skateboarding my entire life, and it all started with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 on a PS1. But not the actual game, a demo that you would get from Pizza Hut. And I actually have it right here. It came with Final Fantasy VIII, Crash Team Racing, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Ape Escape, and Cool Borders 4. And I think you could play like an hour of each game or something like that. But I would play this demo over and over with my cousin. And then we all started skating together, which was really, really cool. The Tony Hawk games, you know, like most franchises, the older ones are held in a higher regard, but it would be cool to get something new, and that might be happening. September 29 could be a huge day for Tony Hawk fans. Activision, oh my god. Look at these ads, dude. GameRant is the worst gaming website. It's just the one I go to the most, but the amount of ads and how big they are is truly horrible. Activision has started promoting the 25th anniversary of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, fueling anticipation that big announcements could be on the horizon. The original Tony Hawk Pro Skater hit store shelves September 29, 1999. Man, 25 years flew by. The critically acclaimed skateboarding game sold millions of copies and spawned a hugely successful franchise. And it also has some of the best music in any games ever. The first and second games, the soundtracks are perfect. Now there is new hope that a Tony Hawk Pro Skater video game project of some description will be announced. As spotted by Push Square, Activision has updated the various Tony Hawk Pro Skater social channels with new artwork, including a fresh logo for the series' 25th anniversary, and this is it right here. There was news that the third and fourth game were getting the same remake that the first and second one did, but I do know that that was initially canceled, but maybe they've been working on it this whole time. If I can find the actual number, I'll put it on the screen. But I feel like the remake sold really, really well. And I'm sure number 3 and 4 would do it as well, and then they could do Underground and Underground 2. Man, it would be amazing. Fingers crossed, right? Now the Switch 2. I think we get an announcement very, very, very soon. It's September. If you had to ask me, I would say like maybe the end of the month we get some kind of new Nintendo Direct, especially since they pushed out the Nintendo Directs to August instead of September. I think we get some kind of presentation this month. I think they show off the console or at least give us a name. I still have my fingers crossed that it's coming out in March, and I kind of feel like it will. You know, their sales are starting to slow down quite a bunch, but what games will be coming for this console? Well, I might have a look into that because I have found some trademarks that are very, very new and they wouldn't be coming out for the Switch. So it's been rumored for a while that there's a new Kirby game coming out. I don't know if that's a remake or a new Kirby game entirely, but I do think there's something new coming out soon. I think the last Kirby game we got was around 3 years ago at this point, so it is time for something new. Would it make sense to launch it for the Switch? I don't see it happening, so I would bet everything on the Switch 2. Now we know that the Switch 2 is going to have upscaled graphics and everything's going to look better, so what about bringing in a 3DS game to the Switch 2? I think that makes perfect sense. And we have this trademark right here for Kirby Planet Robobot, which is probably the second best Kirby game of all time, at least in my opinion. The application filing date, July 10th, 2024, and then the status date, August 1st, 2024. If they remade this game for the Switch 2, it would look so damn good. Because I think the gameplay is some of the best in any Kirby game. I didn't really like the graphic style of it on the 3DS, that's just me. But this would make an amazing Switch 2 game. So what about somebody who's been missing for quite a while? And I'm talking about Diddy Kong. Could you imagine we get Diddy Kong Racing back on the Switch 2? I can imagine that. And I would be so freaking happy because we always say, where's Diddy Kong Racing? What the hell's going on with Diddy Kong Racing? I don't know if Nintendo always felt like it would be a clash of IPs having Mario Kart and Diddy Kong Racing, but why not double dip? There's people who are going to be fans of both series. And this was filed March 11, 2024, and the status date May 9, 2024. So again, I don't see this happening for the Switch. I'm betting on this 100% being on the Switch 2. The one I could see being the biggest announcement and maybe the biggest game, and would just make sense to bring this back, I found this trademark for the mysterious Marame Castle. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but yeah. This was filed November 6, 2023. Status date July 25th, 2024. So this was an NES game, and we've seen this on their Virtual Console in 2014, and I believe Nintendo Switch Online service last year, and you may say, well yeah, that's what the trademark was for. But I really don't think so. So the best way I can explain this game, at least in my opinion, is that it reminds me of the first Legend of Zelda game, but you're a ninja. But I get the same vibes from both games, and I could see them bringing this back and making it like a Legend of Zelda game. Maybe a big open world game, or maybe something like the more traditional Zelda games, but I think this would just translate so well into modern gaming. I had something else pulled up for this game earlier, but I didn't screenshot it, and I thought I did. But it was another trademark for 2024 for this as well. So it was just strange to have a 2023 trademark and then a 2024 one as well. So I could definitely see them bringing this franchise to the modern times, kind of do like a relaunch, and that would make a great Switch 2 game. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about all this information? Because your opinion is what matters the most. In the comments below, did Concord ever look like a quality game, or did you know it was doomed from the start? Are you a fan of the Tony Hawk series? And if you could get any Nintendo franchise back for the Switch 2, what franchise would that be? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you could. I would really appreciate a follow, and you guys know me. I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.